Hey everyone, it's Dana. It is, Tuesday at 10 after 4. I wanted to pop on. Dee Dee Q, as she often does, comes up with cute, fun, easy ideas for pages. And we were chatting the other day and she said, hey, I found this thing called this layout called a triangle layout. And it's really easy. She showed me a picture and I said, that's really cute. And so one thing led to another. And today I finally had 2 minutes to go onto YouTube and watch the video and duplicate it myself. And I thought, you know what? She's absolutely correct. It is super, super easy. It creates all of this around the side. Isn't it fun? What I did after that is took it one step further and made a 2-page layout out of it. So what I want to do today is walk you through, it's going to be a little boring because you're going to watch me cut paper, but I think the beginning, if you can get the idea of how to cut the paper, that's literally the whole page. So super easy to duplicate and watch how it changes. It's like a kaleidoscope. So you put them together this way, right? You can put them together this way. And mind you, I took the page and cut it diagonally, and that's why I have 2 giant triangles. But that's kind of what I want to show you. I wanted you to take it, the layout that everybody else is just leaving plain. I want you to think of it differently, because in truth, you're just combining, different background texture papers. You're just making it different. It's still a background texture paper. And whether you leave it whole or you cut it up, there's a million possibilities if you think of it as just a piece of pattern paper and cut it up, right? So that's kind of what I want to show you. But before we get there, I want to, this is my end result. It is darling. I chose some that is not a high contrast paper. It's a white polka dot. Let me bring it up closer to camera so you can see it. It's a white polka dot with a pink stripe, a pale pink stripe. And I really like that. And this is Pixie Pink, in case you're wondering what pink it is. Now, this is not a go buy paper to do this technique. It's truly not. What I want you to do is scrap a little bit of your stash. And the idea alone is worth its weight in gold. You could literally, I'll show you what I'm going to use. It's 1 sheet of cardstock and 1 sheet of double-sided pattern paper. Okay, and we're going to cut this in just a minute. But the idea could easily translate to a card if you just start with a smaller piece of paper. So instead of a 12 by 12 cutting it up, you cut a 6 by 6 and just make small triangles. Then you could do this folding idea easily on a card. Okay, so don't think that it's only scrapbooking. It's never only scrapbooking. 2/3 of all the techniques, both card-wise and then layout-wise, scrapbooking-wise, can be intermixed or changed so that you could use it on both. Hey, you guys came on. Hi, Dee, I see you. And Marlene and Linda joined in. So good to see you guys. So this is my end result. Dee, do you love it? This is your idea that you brought to my attention, and I grabbed down and finally figured it out today, cut my paper. So this is going to be our end result, or my end result, forgive me. But here is another way, and I want to show you the finished product first so that you can go back. You have an idea before we start cutting paper and you're completely lost. So this is the exact same layout, except this time, look at the dimension. Instead of flattening all the triangles out, I just used foam tape to secure them. Isn't that gorgeous? It literally looks like fabric. Isn't that so much fun? Now, you don't have to do this, of course. You can take your bone folder and flatten them all out. I could do it in about 20 seconds, okay? But I wanted you to see it first before you make that choice. So again, this page could be cut and diagonal like the other one. It could be in 4 triangles. It could be, you could take it back to 4 squares. Do you see the possibilities now if I took this and cut it up? Or it could be cut in strips, right? So many possibilities. So I wanted to see it. I wanted you to see the dimension that you can create, because we're always looking for that, aren't we? Different ways. And with double-sided paper, isn't that just key? Right? So much fun. So this is mine that I did with foam tape, and that's the only difference. All of these are going to be cut exactly the same. So here's where it's going to get a little painful. You need 1 sheet of cardstock and 1 sheet of 2-sided pattern paper. Now, as soon as this live is done, you can pause it and go get your supplies, go raid your stash, and come back with your supplies and we'll do it together. But in the meantime, I want to walk you through the cutting because the cutting for this is everything. There really literally is next to nothing after the cutting. So I want to walk you through it so that you have an idea. What I learned to do is just make sure you're going to cut your zip strip off the end, right? So that it's a square 12 by 12. And then we're going to cut it in half. So we're going to cut it at 6 inches. And forgive me, it's a little hard. It's a little far away on the eyes. But we're going to cut it in half. 2 6 by 12s, and then I tend to do this. I put them together, and then we're going to cut squares. And I'm going to do it a little bit differently. Now we've got 4 6 by 6 squares, okay? So I'm going to take 2 of them because my Fiskars trimmer will cut 2 at a time. And I'm going to make sure they're square, okay? And this is where it gets a little tricky. You're going to go point to point on the line, and you're going to have to hold it really tightly, and forgive my head because I'm probably going to get down close to it so I can see it. You're going to verify it 2 or 3 times because I'm telling you the paper's magic and it will move on you. Okay, hold it down hard and slice through it. So now we have triangles and triangles. Now I'm going to turn those because I've already got it on my trimmer. I'm going to move it all the way down to the bottom so it's got a hard edge. You could do it up at the top too, it doesn't matter. And I'm going to put this point back on the line because we're going to, here, let me move it up on camera. I'm going to put the point of the triangle back on the cutting line. Okay? I'm going to make sure it's right in the middle. I'm going to hold it down. Now I've got half triangles. See how we did that? We took our squares, we made triangles. Now I'm going to square these 2 up. Right? I'm going to make sure they're exactly on top of each other, and I'm going to do the same thing. Push it all the way down to this hard edge. Line that point up exactly on the line. Now, I find it's better to push against the paper than pull the paper up. Because if I pull this way, the tendency is the paper moves with it, and then you get a crooked line. Okay? Now, if you do get a crooked line, all is not lost. Okay? It really isn't. I had a crooked line the last set I did, and because you fold it all up, it's really okay. You might have it if you really go off, but if it's just a slight moving of the paper, you're probably fine. Again, point to point on the line. Okay, then we're making triangles. So this one's already on my cutter. I'm going to make sure with my hands that is squared up, hard on the bottom. Make sure this point, as well as I can see it, honestly, is on the line. And then we're making small triangles. Last set. Well, this wasn't too bad. You can, just for posterity, you can make it against the top edge. Okay, if you prefer to make it on the top edge, you can push it against that edge. I'm sorry, I'm shaking the camera as I'm showing you. Make sure this point is centered on that line, your cutting line. If you're more comfortable doing it at the top of your trimmer, you absolutely can. It's the exact same cut. Okay, we're just gonna make sure that it's square. Now, look, we're done. That is all you're gonna need your trimmer for. So we're gonna set that aside. Now, our cardstock is double-sided as well, right? It's a half shade off. So you get to choose. You literally get to choose. If you want it on the dark side, yes, the cardstock does show through. So you wanna pick which side you want. I think I want the lighter side. I think it matches that peach nicely. So I think I'm gonna do that. So adhesive, and you're just gonna start with a triangle, okay? And you're gonna run your adhesive along the long edge, okay? Along the long edge. And then you're gonna start at one corner and you're gonna glue it down. Now, you only want adhesive on the long edge. And then we're gonna go all the way around the edges, except we're gonna reverse the pattern each time we do one. Okay, so now we're gonna go long edge on the flower side, and we're gonna put it at the other corner. Now, you're gonna find, what I found, is that your paper isn't quite 100% square. Who knew that, right? paper isn't always perfect. So does it matter? Not really, because you can still, because you're folding it all up, even if these lines next to each other aren't perfect, it is okay. Do not stress about it. So each time we do one, we glue one on. And you do want, honestly, you want quite a bit. I don't want to say you don't have to drown in an adhesive, but you do want a line of adhesive because when you go to fold it up, it tends to pull, right? It pulls a little bit on that line. So make sure you're pressing it down as you go, and then we're just going to turn it and work our way around the paper. So if you did a flowered one last time, this time you're doing the polka dot. If you did the polka dot last time, this time you're doing the flowers. As you can see, it's truly not hard. And I am horrible at spatial reasoning. Like I literally, you know those tests that they give you in high school, right? That they tell you what you're good at and what you're not good at. Well, this is something I'm not good at. This is on the not list. Dana, don't ever have a career that has anything in spatial reasoning because you suck at it. This was that moment. So, if I can do this honestly, with all my suckiness in spatial reasoning, you can do this. You can do it too. Okay, so now I have to do it left-handed. You only have to do this on one corner. Okay, so there's our first layer. Now, our next layer is the same thing. You're always going to glue in the same spot. It's always going to be the long edge. Okay, long edge. And then I'm going to take, and I'm going to go point. Basically, you're just going to fill in the spots, right? You're going to fill in the triangle. And again, you're going to turn it and you're going to do, vary the pattern. So you're just going to go, right? One flower, one polka dot. And yes, it kind of freaked me out the first time I did it because you will have patterns next to each other that are the same. You can't help that. So it's okay. It's okay. And a flowered. And then our last one. Okay, we just did flowered, so this is going to be polka dot up. And we'll get that as close as we can. Again, don't worry about this. It literally will be okay, I promise. I promise. Because your paper's not, the cuts won't be 100% straight, the paper won't be 100% straight, so don't, right? Don't stress over it. Now, this last set, I'm doing this, I'm going rogue here. So the video that I watched, she left this hole, and this became a place where you put a photo. I just wanted to do something a little different, so I did. So all I did was literally keep going. We have all triangles. We didn't save a square. We didn't do any of that stuff. So in truth, we're just going to keep going. Keep putting our triangles all the way to the middle. They're going to fit really close. Okay, a flower. You will go through quite a bit of adhesive. But think of this, you're making your own pattern paper. Okay, you ready? It's going to be a ta-da moment. Ta-da! Ready? Whee! Now, this is what it looks like, triangled but not folded. Okay, triangled but not folded. It's kind of sort of symmetrical. But so at this point you have choices. You can use foam tape and create a more fabric texture, or you can just fold them and make your own B&T, if you will, right? Pattern paper. So for this, all intents and purposes for this one, I want you to see how to just do the basic folding. So what I found to be the easiest way is to grab a roll of glue dots and just pull some of the paper off so that you have the glue dots exposed and ready to go. Okay, and these happen to be the big ones, although in all honesty, I think you could use whatever size you have, it's just fine. So I start from, I like to do it toward me, and all you're gonna do is pull up this free edge and you're gonna, until it touches the paper, right? And then my fingers go up the middle and to the right and to the left. Okay? Then when you're done, so what I did first, honestly, is I went all the way around and I just folded the paper because it's easier to do it that way. You kind of just go around the circle and, right, fold all the loose edges. And then you can go back and stick them down. And it kind of gives you an opportunity to make sure they're all straight, right? Before you make it final. But my finger goes up the middle and then across. And that way you're not folding crooked. So your point touches the bottom, your finger goes up to the right and to the left. Some of these you kind of have to, they're really nicely tucked in because the paper fits together. Okay, to the right, to the left, and we just keep going. See how easy it is, you guys? I'm telling you, Dee Dee had the best idea. Okay, so now we've got our first round. We can pull the ones. I just like to do them toward me because it's just, I don't know, it's kind of just how my brain likes to do that. So up the middle, to the right, to the left. Right? And my eyeball is looking at this point and this point. I'm lining that up. For those of you that are on the anal end, like I am, I need somewhere to visually pull it because I don't want it to be going this way, right? And I don't want it to be going that way. I want it to be straight. So my eyeball just tends to, line it up with something. And that just kind of visually gives me a place to do that. Okay, so now we've got the ones that point out, they have to go to the middle too. So you can make these points match if you want to. They're gonna come really close to matching anyway. And then you're gonna turn it. There's lots of turning in this layout, right? But it's the same idea. I kind of like to do it, but you can fold it however it works for you. You do not have to do what I'm telling you, honestly. Now this one looks like, see how it's not exactly lined up? Don't worry about that. Your eye's never, ever gonna be able to pick that out. So don't worry about it. I think it's more important that these triangles are straight. Okay, ta-da! Right? It didn't even take very long, you guys. Like we're already at the place where we're just gonna glue it down. So then what I found is having these glue dots out, right, on the roll, I just take it and touch the end. It comes off really nicely and then it's glued down, right? So I literally just went around. Oh, dang it, wrong side. I got going too fast. Well, I know I won't be the only one of you that does that, so I won't feel too guilty about doing it wrong. They do kind of stick to your hands though, but it was so much easier than, oh, look, I'm already there. So I'll pull out a couple more. It was so much easier than trying to get adhesive on them without bending the paper, right? Because these come off so nicely. Because I thought, trying to do this on the back of it is going to be painful. And I just found, I thought I'd pass it on because it really does work pretty slick. Okay, this one then. I think we are, let me finish over here at the middle. And hang on, that one I didn't catch it close enough. I think pull off some more. One more in the middle. See how nicely they come off? Like they work brilliantly. Okay, so I've got one here. And then I've got one here. It's actually kind of therapeutic. I don't mind doing this. Isn't that crazy? Like, I'm not the kind of person that likes to color. I don't like anything really tedious. Maybe I like this just because it's really not. It's not. And your project is literally done in minutes. So you just learned how to do it. That is the end result. So now can you see how I cut this in half diagonally? Now, you could also, again, cut it in fours and use that as your pattern paper. You could cut it in strips. There's just so many different things you can do with it. If you want to do what I did, if you want to do, right, something like this, or right, where you want to cut that diagonally. And all I did was use shimmer trim, right, which you all have in your stash, I'm sure. It took me 2 white bases, if you want to split it and make more of it. 2 white bases, another 2/3 of a sheet of white, and 1 more sheet of Pixie to do the photo mats. But nothing hard. You can create your own design of the photo mat part, but look at how fun it is. Now, if you want to do that, here's the key. You want to draw a line, point to point. You want to draw the line and use your old scissors, okay? Because it's easier than trying to fit it into your paper trimmer. This is no longer, this diameter is not 12 inches, so it's longer than your paper trimmer and hard to get it in there. But you can do it. You absolutely can do it, okay? So I hope you liked learning how to make your triangle layout. I love it. Super, super easy. I know you can do it, and I can't wait to see you guys dig into your stash and see what you come up with. Because I know each one is so different, isn't it? Look how unique they are. They're just so fun. It's like having a kaleidoscope right in front of you, and each one comes out different. Every pattern paper, again, and then there's even some variation that you can have just by not folding them completely flat, or I'm sure you can even come up with your own. What if I left some of these in and some of them out? That would create even a different quilted pattern. So I hope you enjoyed that. I can't wait to see what you do with it, and we'll talk again soon. Bye, guys.